Hey everyone, there's a lot of good information on this channel and we're doing an engine replacement. I want to show you something really important that's not anything to do with engine replacement. This is the beautiful new engine, but over here on the not so beautiful old engine, I want to show you something that we've talked about before and shown you in other videos. So this is the old engine. Look at this, it's been through a bit of a paddock bash, right? Look at all this mud and everything. So a couple of things that happened. The thermostat was in upside down, so careful who you let work on your vehicle. The little, I can't show you now because already put it back on this vehicle the right way. But the little, what would you call that little thing at the top, Scott? What would you call it? That little...
bleeder.
The little bleeder? Yeah? No, if you're not allowed to call it bleeder, what? Bypass? You're going to call it bypass? No, I'm not going to call it that either. It's a bit like a little fishing, if you went fishing, a little bobble kind of, a little, anyway, it doesn't matter, we don't know what to call it, but it's got to be at the top. And we know what it does, but we don't know what to call it, right? The thermostat, the little, whatever it is. Anyway, the important part here, we're at the point, we're about to remove the supply pump. But if you have a good look there, so you've got a couple of nuts mounting it from behind, one's there. So you can check that one because they come loose. And they come loose to the point that sometimes the nuts go missing. No, we didn't take that off. That nut has gone missing, so we'll have to find a replacement one. What happens when that happens, the pump, it moves freely, it moves loose, and then the pulley that's normally on here that we've just removed can all wobble around and starts leaking oil and all sorts of things happen. So check your nuts, and it can be very difficult to get into that one, but if you can, check your nuts, and whoever you let work on your vehicle, make sure they tighten up all your nuts before you go on a big trip. What else I was going to say? A couple other problems I found with this one, but maybe I'll fit into this video, maybe another video. I just want to make a short one saying supply pump bolts on the 1KD FTV is a very common problem, more and more these days over the last few years, which is why I'm going to mention it every time I see it. Like always when we do an engine, we find problems from previous people working on vehicles. The good news is we fix it all up while we're working on it. So when I took the bolt out of the timing cover here, this stud or whatever you want to call it came out with it. That's just simply because someone's over tightened it and it's spun in there and it's loose, and then when you go to take it out, so you just got to, the whole thing, this comes out, you go put it in a vise, take it out, take the bolt off it and then glue it in there, which I've done, and don't over tighten it when you put it back together. I think we already mentioned the thermostat. That was this video, I think. Been pretty busy, can't really remember what was what. So that's back in correctly. So overall not too bad. It hasn't had that much work done, but there was a lot of tool marks on the water pump, like whoever was using it is using 12-point sockets. I much prefer 6-point sockets. You got a 6-point socket there to show everyone, please, mate? There you go. Right there, what is it? So that's 6 points or single hex. Have we got a crappy 12-point socket somewhere? Give me a crappier socket, anyone, just to show people what I don't want you to use. Now, it's going to be hard for them to find, but they'll find one. Just find those ones. Just find one we don't use. That's it. That's right. Here's an old set that's useful, but it's got a lot of the old. See, I mean, look, the single hex one, beautiful. That'll be a replacement. But see the wear and tear on the teeth of those, and that's what it does to the bolts as well. Makes them really. They're just not the best. So single hex for the win, and that way you're not slipping or wearing out the heads of any nuts and bolts. What you say, mate? You want to sell the King Chrome lock-on set to everybody?
This lock-on set. Have
you got shares in King Chrome?
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
You have?
Yeah,
okay. Well, you have now. What? Because you bought this?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the model K27.
Is that the one you like? Okay. Yeah. You like this kit?
I like that kit.
I've shown a kit, King Chrome lock-on kit in my videos too. It's a bit smaller than this. And yeah, it's one of my favourite kits, to be honest. Oh, is that the same as my one? That's a different one again, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, because is that metric only?
I'll go and have a look.
Yeah, this one's metric.
Go and have a look at that one as well. Go and have a look and see what we can find. You know, this is different to my one. This is bigger than mine as well, because mine's just a little throughout set, but it's got everything you need in it.
Yeah.
Great. Good tools, yeah? So you happy with the quality of it?
Yeah.
So we really like the 3.8 drive King Chrome lock-on stuff. Quick look at what the engine bay looks like and a few precautions and things to do before you put it back together if you decide you're going to replace an engine. You can see one engine mount's there, the other one's out. The engine mounts are getting replaced, that's why. The torque converter, before you reinstall the engine, should make sure it's pushed all the way in properly in case it did move forward with any movement. And it's good to lubricate the little dowels on whether it's the block or the transmission end in general. and make sure the earth strap at the top of the bell housing there doesn't fall down and get jammed in between. That'll help the dowels slip on nicely, same as that little middle spigot on the torque converter. Give that a bit of grease so then everything can just slip in nicely before you get your bolts started. Now, not something we'll be fixing on this visit, but just taking a look at the front diff. Seems to have a bit of oil around, and you can see the diff breather is off the diff, and looks like it's been off for some time, to be quite honest, because you can see the dirt kind of colour down in there. So obviously we'll put that back on. You can see where ARB has done their air locker. It looks quite oily around the back there. It's something to be aware of. And I suppose this is a problem with if you've got aftermarket accessories on your vehicle. Once everything you add, like here we have a transmission cooler as well, which has got clamps that let's just say I don't like them. You know, it hasn't got the K-on transmission cooler, which is really awesome brackets and good quality cooler. But that being said, I don't run coolers on my cars because if you understand the temperatures, torque converter lock, that's that thing there being locked, and drive it right, it won't actually get hot because you're towing in fourth, and shouldn't be a problem. And any amount of time that it does get hot for a minute or something, it's not the end of the world. It's not a big deal. It doesn't mean you're going to need a new transmission or new oil. It's just a moment that it got a bit warm. So carefully consider your aftermarket accessories. We'll get that diff breather back on as part of the other work that we do in here, changing the engine mounts. Have a bit of a look around what I'm doing now, just to see if there's anything easier to access at the moment to sort out before you put it back in, to make sure there's no damage to anything, because you never know. Sometimes something could have got caught up, but in this case it didn't. There's a lot of aftermarket accessories. You can see the amount of zip ties and the wires and the fuses, because there's fuses everywhere. But I don't know any reason why there should be any electrical wires anywhere near the engine. All electrical should be routed up the side of the vehicle, down low, underneath all of that gear up there. So once again, we're not going to go on about the auto electrical. We've been there, done that, and everybody generally knows, well, when you know, you know, and when you don't, about what it should look like and, you know, how it should all be installed. Considering people that have to work on the vehicle later, or this sort of thing hanging around, does make things a bit more difficult to work on. So here's the old engine. We've managed to get everything off it, give it all a clean up. 3 people on the job and been very efficient, as planned. Give everything, all the components that are getting swapped over, a clean up, and pretty much everything has been installed on the other engine. It's getting a bit later in the day. We're just going to have a quick lunch, and then we might finalise the engine and get it sitting back in place over there today. We'll just see how we go. Right, it's looking like we run out of parts to bolt on anyway. So exhaust manifold, new gasket, new turbo kit. Turbo was replaced recently, so all the gaskets for the turbo all done. Dipstick back in. Thermostat installed correctly with a new seal. New gasket under the water pipe there. Clamps back on. Manifold's tight. Turbo to the manifold's tight. Good. Water pump's good. Harmonic balancer, I hit that with the gun, that's good. This has got a new O-ring on it. We have to do the securing of the bottom wiring loom at the last thing we do today, and it can dry overnight. And timing belt's all done, all those components we talked up, covers on. All these pumps are in. That pump, the missing nut, we found a nut and put it in place. This one on the outside here is the aftermarket one. It's better than nothing, and it can be replaced with a genuine one later. I'm just a bit like that. I tend to do things like that, but it doesn't really have to be done. E-jar coolers on, pipes are all torqued up, manifold. E-jar, it's all been washed out and dried, the manifold as well. The E-jar, the oil cooler, all the pumps, bada bing. It just looks like, yeah, just take it all off and swap it over. But that is literally hours of work for the 3 of us between removing, cleaning and refitting. It's amazing we got this far already. And I think that's enough chit chat in this video. This is not how to replace your engine video. It's just a bit of a video. Catch you on the next one if you subscribe and turn the bell on. See you there. Actually, lights, camera, action. I thought we were finished and then the lights came on. Have a look how bright that is, everybody. Bloody beautiful. I'm going to quickly cover why we're replacing the engine mounts, and it's not because they break, and it's not because they need to be replaced. It's because some of the earlier ones, before about 2009, you could get a vibration through the vehicle, particularly when it was cold. So if you've got that, if you've got old flogged injectors, that could be a problem. But even after the injectors are done and everything's running in peak condition, you can feel the vibration through the vehicle when these engine mounts fail. The replacement ones are upgraded, so you only need to do it once. Once you've done it, you're good to go. Like a nice new engine mount. Oh, and the diff breather, that looks better on like that, doesn't it?
Better than the Bluetooth one you had.
Imagine you had aftermarket diff breathers and you got a diff drop or something, and when they dropped the diff, that came off. So you spent double the money, and then you're going to have a diff full of water.
Yeah.
Unreal. Anyway, I don't know if this has got a diff drop, if that's what caused it or not. If it's got a diff drop, that's probably what caused it. If it hasn't, I don't know what's caused it, but at the end of the day, we've just reworked it and refitted it, so hopefully no more whatever might have been going in the diff. So lucky diffs are tough, especially in Toyotas.
It does have diff breathers.
Diff breathers, yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So it goes from, it's been modified from a good level up there to a level way down there. Where, and this is just, look at that, it goes up and down, and look, I don't know who did that. But anyway, that's another story. Careful who you let work on your car.